Come. What? Yeah, where's the ID? Where's the ID?
Bring your ID.
In the motor. Where's your
Look at this. What's your problem?
So all these are pictures coming to you from Magode lodges, and this is not the first point that we have visited together with the Minister of Lusaka Province, Bowman. Earlier on, we were at, we did begin our basically compliance check at one of the bars. To be specific, it was Jiggins. Then from there, we did go to Lazy Means. Compliance levels are still questionable. And before coming to Magodi here, which is along Great North Road, we were in Kabwata KCC. Again, a number of people failing to adhere to the preventive measures that have been instituted by government, working together with different authorities. So another situation here at Magodi, and basically we'll continue to see what happens, but looks like people are failing. Unfortunately, some people are failing to adhere to the measures. So from here, we haven't been informed our next point of call, but again, we can assure you that we'll be heading to another place to see how people are adhering. The good thing is that almost all the places that we've gone to, they've ensured that they've left the places closed to ensure that no one remains operational. The bars, according to the presidential directive, were supposed to open until 23, but this is already past 24. People are still enjoying their beverages from bars when the call has been for everyone that feels like they need to buy a bottle or two to drink from their homes. So this is the situation right here. Darius, quite unfortunate pictures here. People trying to, I don't know, falling off like, I don't really know what to call them, but yeah, measures are being instituted.
Measures are being instituted indeed, Bobby, and this is what members of the public have been calling on, that they needed to see more enforcement by the local authority as well as other government departments. And now today we are talking about the provincial minister, Mr. Bowman Lusambo, just going around these places. It is quite sad to see that people are out there abrogating the COVID-19 guidelines. People are not masking up. Bars are operating beyond a normal stipulated time. We know that according to what the presidential directive, people need the people that own bars need to operate between 18 hours 23 hours. But here we are at Magodi, Bobby, beyond that particular time. So what is so sad also, Bobby, is that Magodi, I think this is not the first time that the local authority are coming in to inspect this particular bar. We have seen even the first wave of the pandemic, people, the local authority.
The city father was actually here.
Yes, and they are still doing the same. One wonders why it's like that. but we hope to see, you know, more probably, you know, outcomes in this regard. So here we are now, and from here we are moving to another place, Bobby.
Yeah, indeed, we are moving to another place from here, Darius, and the message is for you to continue to adhere to the measures that have been put in place. The numbers that we are recording as a country are alarming. The death toll as of today, just in the last 4 hours, according to the latest briefing, 18 people have lost their lives because of COVID-19. The message is for you and I to ensure we adhere to all these preventive measures if we as a country are to win the fight against COVID-19. From here, we'll be going to a different location. Continue watching all these live pictures on the Diamond TV Facebook page.
Indeed, so these are just live updates that we are giving you as we, inform you on what is happening tonight. It's actually in the morning now, where we are seeing Honorable, Minister of Lusaka, Bowman Lusambo, is going around places together with some police officers from the Zambia police as well as the council. Just stay glued to Diamond's TV, just like we have indicated, and we will continue to give you live updates. This is News on the Go.
So from here we are going to a different location, which right in front of us is the Honorable Minister Mr. Bowman Lusambo, getting directions, or rather, directions on the next point of call.
So just like Bobby, we have been saying, this is now a reinforcement of the COVID-19 guidelines that stipulates that bars are not to operate beyond 23 hours. And what we are seeing, the situation is quite sad, where people have continued to abrogate restrictions that were earlier imposed. Even when we have, when we are experiencing the second wave of COVID-19, numbers have, kept on increasing. Just, the latest updates coming from, the Ministry of Health is that we recorded over 1,000 cases, and 18 people have since, died of the pandemic, that is the COVID-19. So we still, giving you these live updates. This is also a way of informing people out there that might want to go out, that this is not the time for you to do that, because you might just meet up with, the law enforcement agencies that are here, together with Lusaka Province Minister Bowman Lusambo.
We have the Ministry of Health basically mentioning some of the places where the ones that are more like the carriers of COVID-19. They've mentioned places like bars, nightclubs, funerals, and sometimes even church gatherings. And that's the more reason why there's this enforcement by relevant authorities to ensure that we combat this pandemic. There is, when you look at the global picture, very, very, very alarming. Already over 86 million people have been infected with COVID-19. Luckily, the number of recoveries has also been very impressive, and the number of people that have died as a result of COVID-19 in the last 1 year plus, because you remember that COVID-19 was first recorded in China in December of 2019. So it's been counting. It's already been over a year ever since the first cases rather of COVID-19 were recorded. The number of people that have succumbed to the virus surpasses 1 million, which is a worrying source of concern. And when you look at the picture right here in our very own country, Zambia, tests have been conducted. Today we did have over 10,000 tests conducted, and from that details reveal that over 1,000 people are COVID, or rather were found COVID positive, and most of these people are from Lusaka, which is a worry, a source of concern. Lusaka has got the biggest population on the land, over 2 to 3 million people. So what is needed is to ensure that each and every one of us protects ourselves. When you look at the update for today from the minister, one of the lead members when it comes to the fight against COVID-19, Professor Bowman, was also a victim of COVID-19. So I think it's clear if you do love yourself, all you need to do is to ensure that you follow all the preventive measures.
Follow the preventive measures indeed, and aside from that, Bobby, I think one thing that we should also make mention, even as we experience this second wave of the pandemic, is that there's a change or a twist in terms of people that are being affected. Lately we were told that mainly the people between the ages of 70 and above, but the situation has changed. I just had an interview with the head communication at the Zambia National Public Health Institute, that's NPHI, who disclosed to me that in these various isolation centers that we have as a country, there are people who as young as 2 years that are in these wards. So it's quite scary, and it's also scary that despite these such messages rather coming out from the Ministry of Health, we are still seeing people abrogating or not complying to the health guidelines. Remember that the Ministry of Health are saying you need to mask up, you need to sanitize, you need to wash your hands, you need to exercise physical distance. And as regards to the operation that we are observing right at this very moment, bars are not supposed to operate beyond 23 hours, but they have continued to do that. Quite sad, and this needs to end according to authorities, hence embarking on this particular operation. I only hope that this is really going to be a warning as well as an alert to those that have not been visited.
And indeed we did see the police, because we are not only with the Lusaka province minister, the police are also part of this operation, and people scampering in all directions. I think it shows that they already know what they're supposed to do, but again they are failing to adhere to what is required of them to do. So it's unfortunate. We can only hope that we join hands in the fight against this pandemic. It is a global pandemic, something that calls for concerted efforts. I think government has been calling on the private sector to come on board in the fight against COVID-19. Maybe there is just before we get to our next destination, let's get to speak to
Can you move quickly? Oh my God! Open the gate. Can't move anywhere. On a single trip.
So those are the pictures of what is happening here. One of the nightclubs in Lusaka. So quite a number, unfortunately, a number of people were found still enjoying their favorite beverages. With what we have done so far, we don't expect them to continue drinking for the morning because we're already in the wee hours of January 9th. So we don't expect these patrons to come back here tonight or this morning.
I think amongst the places that we have visited so far, this one stands out for the night. We saw a huge crowd of, of patrons and revelers that, came here to enjoy themselves amid, the pandemic, going beyond the stipulated hours that, were put by the head of state, President Edgar Lungu. Just at this very moment, we are seeing the local authorities now getting the license So we are at a place called the Royal Flag.
Yes, so again, with what we are hearing from the local authorities, that the license liquor for this place might just be revoked because of what has transpired. Because we do understand this is the Royal Park, and bars are supposed to close at by 23 hours. And if you look at the time, this is already 00:36, which is beyond way beyond the stipulated time. So that's the no reason why the council said they've actually issued their receipt. I'm sure you're able to see the pictures. They are issuing and everything. So, the license liquor for this store, the Royal Park, has been picked by the local authority.
It has indeed, Bobby, and just because, just before rather, the Lusaka province minister embarked on this night's operation, I think a warning, was given. We saw him posting on his Facebook page, urging, members of the public not to go out in the night today because of this particular operation. And it seems the message did not reach, others who decided to do just that, and the consequences are what we are seeing right now.
Indeed, so this place for now has been cleared. Patrons have all gone out. The license has been picked by the local authority, and we wait to see what will happen. But yeah, these are some of the people that are failing to adhere to the measures, enjoying themselves in the wee hours of the morning. number of broken bottles. The patrons are becoming a bit violent, throwing bottles, empty bottles of alcohol. So we had to more like hide from that.
The night operation is
Still underway. And maybe we can get a comment from Honorable Minister Bowman Lusambo. Honorable Minister, quite unfortunate pictures that we did with Nessa.
Now, how can you
the
finish Corona like that? Sure. How can you finish Corona? More than 2,000 people in a small room like that. And what we are asking our community to also take part in this fight. But what we are seeing is very unfortunate. But we are not going to relent. My team, we are resolved until we bring the numbers to zero. If it means fighting with these people, we are going to do so.
Yeah. Since we are about to leave Royal Park, some of the patrons were almost becoming violent, throwing bottles at the cars that came to.
It is very unfortunate because we are protecting their own lives. We are not protecting anyone's life, their own life, and the life of the next person. That's what we are doing. So becoming violent is very unfortunate, but we are not going to be intimidated by those drunkards. We are going to make sure that we reduce them and we bring them and we put them where they belong.
Thank you very much. So that was the Lusaka Province Minister, Mr. Bowman Lusambo, who is patrolling some parts of Lusaka, just basically to ensure that adherence to COVID-19 measures is one of the things that each and every person, not only in Lusaka but the entire country, it does at this moment because of the rise in COVID-19 cases. We are almost hitting the 500 mark when it comes to the number of people that have succumbed to COVID-19. But when it comes to the number of people that have been infected, we're already over 25,000, which is a source of concern, which is just basically about when the National Hero Stadium is filled up to capacity. So imagine half the number of all the people that would be at National Hero Stadium getting COVID-19. So that's the number of cases that we've recorded so far. And the message is very simple. Adhere to the measures and ensure that you are safe. Protect not only yourself, but your entire family. Protect your loved ones. That's the only way we are going to win the fight against COVID-19. For now, we will continue giving you these pictures. And we have just gotten to another place. We try to see.
It's okay.
just the unfortunate pictures. Patrons coming out of this other joint. It's called I don't know, just a joint next to Port Bed. So this is one of the bars around Devil Street, coming out in large numbers.
Good evening. It's not fair. Tell us the truth. It's not fair. Just wonder why quite dramatic scenes that we are seeing right at this very moment. Actually, you can be able to see a crowd of people will be coming out from this particular bar here in Emersdorf. This is, I think, along Devil Street. It is north.
Look at the massive barrier. Some are even falling off. You might think people are sleeping.
And what is so unfortunate, Bob, is that most people that are coming out from this particular place don't even have face masks.
Unfortunate, Darius, and it's one thing having a face mask, and it's another thing using it, because the moment that you get intoxicated, you forget about all the measures. So this is the situation here.
Look at some, being drunk like that. It becomes very difficult.
Some even almost bumped into us.
Yeah.
I will slap you. Damn it.
It's quite unfortunate indeed that a crowd of people that are coming out from this this particular bar, most of them are not even clad in face masks, and you even wonder how possible it could be for them to contain the spread of COVID-19 in the second wave where we are at the moment.
Maybe let's just show the viewer some of the pictures. The people that are the other side. Some of the revelers coming up of what simply looks like a little boat. Not knowing the numbers that were there.
We now head to a different, location as we do this live update. We will continue to live. So as we are saying,
Emersdorf, another great area, Darius. People coming out of what simply looked like a little hole, but dozens and dozens of people coming out of a very, very, very small area, and you will tend to wonder if there was anything like social distancing in there.
Nothing like that. I mean, we could tell from the way people are coming out from that particular nightclub. And what we saw, Bobby, something that I think is worth mentioning is that despite, the message every day from the Ministry of Health that this thing that we are putting on right now, a face mask, is one of, the most important, cloth that one needs to, have in order to, not to contract COVID-19. Quite sad that people that have been kept in a very small room, not even, doing that, or what probably they have in mind is to party, but they forget that there is this a disease that is upon us, and many countries we have seen, especially European countries, where cases are quite huge. People are dying every day. Thousands of people are dying every day. Our country now, we are talking about the second wave of the pandemic, which is more deadlier. Hence now where we are seeing this reinforcement of the COVID-19 guidelines. We can only hope that people will change their mindset. For me, I think this is sensitization on its own. Now people need to realize that for law enforcement agencies to be within this particular area, of course, with Lusaka Province Minister Bowman Lusambo, this is an alert that the most important thing to do now is for you to be home with your family. Just talking about being home, we saw a statement being issued earlier from of course government telling us that only essential workers are the ones that will be allowed to be in offices or report for work. Non-essential workers will be required to work from home.
And even during the first wave of the pandemic, I think it was the situation with most firms, even government workers, who would go to ministries and only find just some were even rotating to ensure that the issue of social distancing, of not meeting people every now and then, and some of actually the appointments, or rather people could not access our offices because of those measures. And yesterday and today we did see the Ministry of Local Government being closed down because of suspected COVID-19 cases. And during these 2 days, the ministry has been able to fumigate the premises just to ensure that the COVID-19 pandemic, or rather the COVID-19 or the COVID virus, is dealt away with. So those are some of the measures that we have seen, but unfortunately, I think there's no place that we've gone to where we haven't found anything. But again, one good part was we do know that Chicago's, Capone's, around East Park, some of those famous places for nightlife. But there was no one. We spoke to the manager. He gave us a very good story, telling us that this is a fight that needs concerted efforts. Government gave us an opportunity during a certain period to make our monies. But now we've seen the number of cases going up. What do? We've already made our monies. We can pay, at least we can pay our workers. So for now, we just need to adhere to the measures. And the two bars were closed, completely closed. There was no patron going in there. But when you leave such a place, you come down here. Maybe the patrons that would have gone to those areas thought maybe it would be wise for them to come down here and enjoy their favorite drinks.
Probably, Bobby. And I like what you have, brought out from, the interview that we just had from one of the managers at Chicago's, who disclosed to us that October, November and September, somewhere there, that was an opportunity for them, to make money and be able to sustain, the people that, the workers. And he has disclosed to us that now that the cases, there's a surge in terms of cases going up. I mean, why not close or work within the time that we have been given? We know that bars and nightclubs have not completely closed. The government is saying people must operate at least for 5 hours, that is between 18 hours and to 23 hours. These hours that have been given to the bars, I think they can be able to make something and be able to sustain their lives and that of their workers. COVID-19 is real. The second wave of the pandemic is deadlier. We can see from other countries like South Africa, which is our neighbor, Zimbabwe, where now they are recording in a day probably over 25 cases of deaths, like people dying on a daily basis. Quite unfortunate. And this is where now our government is saying we don't want to reach at that level. We don't want to lock down because probably people will not have means of earning an income. Let us just work within the guidelines that have been imposed. People are not doing that. We hope that these night operations will yield to something positive.
Indeed, the hope is that each and every Zambian, we don't continue losing lives. We are all safe from COVID-19. The messages of the vaccine have always been there, and we're only hoping that the vaccine that we are all waiting for finally does arrive in Zambia, to ensure that, and we are only hoping that it does not only arrive in Zambia drivers, it is also safe for the million Zambians that will be made to take this vaccine.
Yes, we do understand that the vaccine is likely to be distributed by end of November, or even end of February. Or even mid February. According to what we heard from the Ministry of Health, is that about 1.3 or 1.4 million Zambians are ones that will be able to get this vaccine or be vaccinated against COVID-19. All these innovations that are coming in needs to be embraced, because we have seen the impacts that COVID-19 has caused on many economies across the country. We have seen certain sectors of the economy closing down. Hotels, bars, hotels, lodges in most countries are not operating.